So here it is, the brand new Yonex Astrox 99 Pro. Let's review it.
So first impressions, we haven't hit with these yet. We haven't even looked at the specs. But Dean, how does it feel in the hand?
I mean, definitely feels like an Astrox head-heavy racket. They're definitely a little bit on the heavier side, but in the way of the look, I am a big fan of how this racket looks. It's definitely something that I would pick up. Quite leery, quite loud, definitely quite bold.
I would say it's probably the best looking racket I've seen, maybe since I really like the Z Force 2, really like that matte black look, and this has got something different to that, but really sharp to the eye, nice to look at. So this third generation Astrox 99 Pro has that very familiar feel we're used to with the Astrox series. It's head-heavy design, it's stiff shaft, and has that perfect setup for those attacking, aggressive players. But then what actually makes this racket so special?
So it's all down to this new technology in the frame. And Yonex are calling this 2G NAMD Flex Force. So what does it do?
Well, the carbon nanotubing binding the graphite together reduces energy loss and enhances the resilience. Well, what does this actually mean for you? Simply, the racket's going to snap back quicker, giving you maximum power. Yonex have also been very sneaky. There used to be a weight in this cap at the bottom of the racket. They've completely got rid of that, which has now shifted the heaviness even further towards the head, meaning now this is the most head-heavy racket in the whole lineup. So Yonex talk a lot about their shot information connector. So what actually is that? Well, it's simply their 2G NAMD Flex Force frame linked with their anti-torsion shaft. And what that's going to do is going to mean you can swing this racket much faster, but with that anti-torsion frame, it's allowing you to keep that face a lot squarer for longer, meaning you're hitting better shots and even harder. So how does this racket actually feel? Well, naturally, with it being head heavy, I've come to the back to practice hitting some overheads. And yes, first thing I notice is it feels very heavy in the hand, hitting these shots. I am used to using the NanoFlare 700, which obviously really light and super headlight. But with this overhead shot, it feels like I can really set the shuttle off quite easily with a decent amount of power without putting too much effort in, because it's heavy. But also in the same turn, I feel like you're gonna have to use that little bit extra effort because of that weight in the head. And I mean, when I think of the players who are using this, Ranky Reddy, Popovs, Lanier, and Shiyuki, players who are very good overhead, like their big attack. And this is definitely the sort of thing, if you're thinking of a new racket, and attack is something you're interested in, this could well be the one for you.
So let's start looking at some doubles defense. Now naturally, maybe you're thinking head heavy, Astrox range, it's not meant to excel in this area. That's not to say it's bad in defense, it's just not where its high priorities are. For me, yes, it's gonna feel a little bit more head heavy, but it's still perfectly fine to defend with. And the most important thing is, if I'm an attacking player, hopefully, I'm not gonna be here too long, so I can still make the most of its head-heavy attack in the rear court. So let's move forward to around the net. Now, obviously this isn't gonna feel as whippy as a NanoFlare style of racket because of its head-heavy frame, but what you are gonna get is a real nice amount of power if you're able to have that racket head speed to generate that pressure from the net. But yes, you are obviously having to work a little bit harder to feel like you're keeping it up and in position.
So let's talk singles. And this is typically where a lot of players use a head-heavy racket, because you don't necessarily need that fast reaction speed as much as maybe doubles. And yeah, this feels nice in a singles court. I don't have to feel like I'm putting too much effort into my shots to create power. I would think if I'm maybe challenging on the fast and flat, which is definitely becoming more and more in singles nowadays, might struggle a little bit more, but overall it's a real nice feel for my controlled shots. You get that feeling in the head with it being so super head heavy, but definitely for a singles player, I think it's not a bad choice.
Now into the mid-court and just playing some soft control. Now what is the fantastic side effect of this racket is because it's such a good looking, stunning racket, you're really keen to keep that racket up all the time so you can see it in its natural beauty whilst playing all these brilliant soft control shots. So you may have noticed that we're actually using some different colour strings in these rackets.
And that is a feature Yonex are also launching this autumn. They have an orange X-Bolt 68 and a green X-Bolt 65, specifically designed to go with this racket and make it look even better.
So David, you used to use the Astrox 100ZZ and recently moved to the NanoFlare 700 Pro. How does this feel in comparison going back to this style of racket, particularly with it being even more head heavy?
Yeah, and obviously they're very, very different from the NanoFlare series. The Astrox series obviously so head heavy, and there's a bit of a shock holding it. What I would say, compared to maybe my 100ZZ, that was almost probably the most head heavy racket I've ever used, this is almost to another level. It feels like there's so much weight down here, very, very light in the handle. And to be honest, it felt so good overhead. I was really happy with how this felt overhead. Felt really nice to hit downwards attacking shots. Very different to that NanoFlare racket that I'm looking for the speed around maybe the mid-court moving forwards. But at the end of the day, what are our actual thoughts on this racket and who do we think it's for?
Well, as we've already mentioned, we think this is a very good looking racket and one of the nicest rackets we've seen released for some time. As we've already mentioned, yes, it is very head heavy. So what are you as a player? If you are attacking and have a big smash and looking for that aggressive play, this could be your brand new racket.
And obviously this does have a stiff shaft, which is more targeting those high level players who can generate a faster swing speed. And when we say it's head heavy, we mean it's head heavy.